Attitudable opens the door to a new world of people transforming lives and the way we do business. This is a space to share ideas, dreams, experiences with a conviction that attitudable humans can attain anything. Would you like to thrive in today's communications? Welcome to our podcast. Today, I would like to introduce Rob Salafia from Protagonist Consulting. Rob is an MIT Master Executive Coach, a facilitator of transformational learning, and author of Leading from Your Best Self. Develop executive poise, presence, and influence to maximize your potential. What is unique about Rob is that he is an accomplished tap dancer and storyteller. That's right. For the first half of his career, he traveled the globe delivering his unique one-person variety show. Rob combines his career in the performing arts with 2 decades of experience as a top leadership development executive. He has a passion for coaching leaders to develop their presence, tell compelling stories, and establish authentic connections. He will be speaking today about leading in this virtual environment. So let's welcome Rob.
Thank you, Dolores.
We are
Very, very
honored to
nice to
have
be with
you.
you. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So how would you like to start?
Well, your book is a must read for all the world because
Thank you.
it's so fully packed of very great tips to apply. And we would like to know specifically if you can tell us, we could be like hours talking, what would you suggest or recommend on how to lead or try to lead in this virtual or remote work that almost
Right.
everybody all over the
Right.
world is doing now?
Yes, we're experiencing very similar things right now.
Yeah.
Well, let me start with one of my clients is a international retailer. It's a fairly large company. And I had been delivering some learning programs for them when this COVID-19 hit. And they went into very quick mode of operation to close their stores. They're right in the process right now, 10 weeks or so later, reopening those stores slowly. And they're going to be working with a business organizational psychologist who is going to work with them on these 4 frames of process that we go through as human beings. The first is the heroism. So, and this is what they showed. They showed great heroism. They just rose to the occasion, and everyone joined together to really work quickly to ensure that the business was safe, the business was secure, their customers were safe and secure, and they did an incredible amount of job on that. If the fact is that when we work in that sort of type of mode, a lot of it's adrenaline based, so we're hyper focused and we don't even realize the superhuman strength that we have to be able to do that. The next stage is adaptation. This is when things all of a sudden begin to feel like it's normal, but it's not. And this is when people are still acting on adrenaline, but it's more at the end of a cycle. It's more as though a car, we're running out of gas, and they call it running on fumes, the expression. And then the next stage is depletion, or actually shutdown. And people don't be careful, they can experience a heavy setback emotionally, physically. It impacts them so that they become weary, they become tired very quickly. And then the next stage is replenishment. And so I think one of the things that we need to learn as leaders is when we're working on overdrive, when we're working on adrenaline, we have to learn to take care of ourselves, especially now when we're working with in a virtual environment, when some of my clients and sometimes myself, we're sitting at a computer screen with a Zoom meeting back to back to back to back. We don't even get up out of our seats. This is very tiring for ourselves, emotionally, energetically. Sometimes we might even forget to have lunch. We just keep working. There's a striving for, or a refocusing on getting the task done, and we lose sight of the importance of relationship and the true value of, and we miss the opportunity to truly connect.
Yes.
And I think that sense of connection is very important. So I came up with, at MIT, they asked me to adapt my one-day program that I do with them to a virtual class. And so I did. I created 3 90-minute virtual sessions, and they were well attended, very energized. People got a lot out of them. They were well received. And I came up with 3 principles for leading in a virtual environment. The 3 P's: get present, get personal, get productive. So let's take these apart. To get present means to clear distractions, to settle yourself, to disengage from what you were previously working on, focused on, to relax, to take a beat, to take a pause, and then reconnect. You're going into what the new matter is at hand and refocus to that. So that is a very important part of the cycle of switching from one meeting to another meeting, from one thing to another thing, is having that pause point, because we will tend to take with us the emotion, the content. We never quite get fully connected to what's in front of us. So I think what managing distractions is the new normal. So this idea of managing distractions, and how do we manage distractions? We can eliminate them. We can close the door if we can. Some people are lucky enough to be able to close the door. We can minimize them, which means we can close the door a little bit, but we know that cats, kids, and dogs at any minute can come across and come into the room and engage with us. And it all depends upon how we accept that and integrate that. Then that's the third one, is to normalize. So we can eliminate them, we can minimize them, or we can normalize them. And I think the normalization is when we feel less pressure, we feel more relaxed, we feel like it is what it is. And this leads into the next: you get present, you get personal. That's what it means to get personal, is the normalization. It's a sense of connection. It's a sense of, and I think one of my clients said it to me. They said, we are all impacted by COVID-19 globally, but not all of us are experiencing it in the same way.
You're right.
So we're not. Like I was on a call earlier today, and one of the clients said, he said, well, I'm sitting out here, and I can look out, and I see this beautiful view. I can open the doors, I can take a deep breath, fresh air. I see my garden, and then I can go back and relax. Now I'm working with at MIT, one of my administrative assistants that helps me with the programming. She has 2 roommates. She sits in her bedroom all day, and I can tell it's like she's not happy. It's like it's very difficult. So not everyone is experiencing this in the same way. Some of us have been impacted. Some of our family, some of our friends have been impacted by COVID. And so that's this thing about getting personal, is giving people the space and the opportunity to check in, have a voice,
Yeah.
tell their story, uh, feel as though they're not just holding. You do that, as soon as you allow that conversation to happen, um, give people voice, it's very powerful. So you can ask a simple question like saying, and I heard this today, it's a, when have you been challenged? Oh no, what's challenging? What's humorous? Two things, because we have two sides of this. What's part of this is challenging for you? What part of this is just like, what's the funniest thing that's happened in the past week? And when we can reach that level of humor and laughing, and it normalizes the situation for us.
Trying
And
to help.
and as you said, as human beings, we learn how to adapt, but we have to do it consciously. We have to do it holistically. We have to do it, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We have to bring all of these pieces together, and then we realize what's really important to us in our lives, and that, as the expression goes, this too shall pass, and we'll figure it out on the other end.
How we,
And the last piece is called getting productive. So get present, get personal, get productive. That means having a good agenda, making sure that everybody knows what to expect on the call and what are the outcomes of that meeting. So then you can stay really connected to what you're trying to accomplish. Because we can get very disconnected
yeah,
to ourselves, to each other, and even to the outcomes that we're looking to achieve.
exactly. And sometimes, as you say, perhaps we are our quarantine, as we say here as well, we are all confined, is a privilege because we are not alone, we are with our families. There are many people who
Mm-hmm.
are all alone, and that changes it a lot because you have to
Yeah,
deal only with yourself. That's
that's
good
right.
on one part, but it's also very challenging because it's been so many days, months, that it's difficult for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. And how do you think that we can try to, in a way, to be more productive or to keep on working? What would you suggest to apply, like some tips or something throughout the day?
Well, it's working in cycles, 90-minute cycles is very important.
Mm,
Getting up, taking a walk, um, you know,
moving.
moving around, having a glass of water, just changing the pace of something,
Mm,
uh, as rather than, and try not to have so many of these back-to-back meetings. I know sometimes it's very difficult to manage that,
yeah.
especially if someone else is managing your calendar. But if that's the case,
Mm,
start at quarter past the hour or
mm,
finish at quarter of the hour. And you can get done pretty much in 45 or 50 minutes what you can get done in an hour, to
yeah.
be able to take that break. And it's not so easy, but I think with some discipline and you can uh, create these breaks throughout your day. And it's not work-life balance, right? Work-life balance now is sort of like this or that. It's integration,
Mm,
and it's realizing that your day at home, your office day at home, is not going to look the same as your office day when you go into the office. It's a different
yeah.
calibration. And so just take a deep breath and realize that that that's what we might have to do. And talking about breath too, that's very important. I have an expression, 3 words: breathe, connect, land.
Your trademark. Yeah.
Yeah, breathe, connect, land um, is a way for you to be able to make that transition, taking a deep, deep breath, connect with, even if it's just sitting in your seat, connecting with your balance, and then breathing out and landing in your seat. Just that as a practice. It could be breathing in, looking at the camera, connecting with the person that you're speaking to, landing your messaging. So
Yeah.
all of those things can go a long way. And building a habit is exactly that. We just do it. Like um, washing hands. I remember in the
Mm.
past couple of years, they said, sing a birthday song in your head. And I didn't want to sing a birthday song in my head. So tried to find a song that was funny. So now I sing, and if you remember the cartoon show, The Flintstones,
Yes, one of my
right? So I
favorites.
sing that song in my head now, and it makes me laugh every time. And
Yeah.
now I do it, but it's amazing. When I don't do it, I lose track of how long I've been washing my hands. But when I do it, I know exactly how long I've been washing my hands.
Because it's
And so,
important, the length. I
and,
mean,
and
uh,
it's important,
exactly.
right? So 20 seconds. And so now
Yeah.
I do that. And I used to do it out loud. And I would have my wife and daughter would start laughing all the time. I would just go, Flintstones,
Yes,
meet the
Mr.
Flintstones.
Flintstone.
It's, and
He's
they would
washing
just
the
start
hands
laughing.
again.
Yeah, they would just start laughing, so um,
Yes,
that's what it's about.
exactly. And your other trademark that you also mentioned in the book is discover your signature stance that you
Yes.
mentioned.
So this is thank you for reminding me about that. So this is about leading from your best self. And
Mhm.
the question, and this is in chapter 1, is think of a time when you felt in your best self, the best version of yourself, when you're most alive, engaged,
Mhm.
effective. When you think back at that time, there's usually a way that you've held yourself. And I was working, this is described in the book, I was working with a young woman who was struggling at work. And when I asked her this question, she said she used to play flute in a marching band. And I asked her to stand up and show me what it looked like when she took that pose. And she stood up tall, and and it was a stance of confidence. And when I asked her how it felt, she said she felt confident. So the signature stance really is a stance of confidence, of security, one where you feel uh, uh, self-efficacy, when you feel confident to be able to step forward. And so you find that by looking back into your history for those moments when you really felt alive, engaged, the best version of yourself. And it's a very effective way to pull yourself up and out of um, any number of emotional dips that we might find ourselves in. I mean,
Yes.
even if we're sitting at our desk, we might hunch over a little bit. And so
Mm.
I find myself readjusting, putting my feet flat on the floor, lifting my shoulders back, taking a deep breath, breathe in 4 counts. Then I suspend for 7 counts, and then I breathe out for 8 counts. And that sequence can get me recentered, re-engaged, refocused.
Excellent. Yes. Together as well with meditation and all that, that
Mm-hmm.
you also, of course, practice and recommend or advise people to also
Yeah,
follow. Yes.
yeah.
Any kind of meditation, or would you like, or do you think one is better,
Well,
at
I
least for different?
particularly, yeah, I like breath work. It's
Mhm.
that's a one that I just described. Uh, Deepak Chopra recommends that as well. That's a yogic says, take 4 breaths in, suspend it for 7 counts, and breathe out for 8 counts.
Yeah.
You could, and that's usually, it's very good for your nervous system.
Mm.
And then that's usually how I start my meditation. And then I'll do any number of other, like say a visualization exercise that gets me to relax.
Very powerful. Yes.
You know. So,
Perfect.
right,
And
and
just to round up, what do you think will, if we can, like, not predict, but what do you think will change in communications or in the way we communicate after all this is like over and done with, and we are all recovered and trying to lead normal lives?
you know, I'm not sure if we'll ever, when I first heard the expression new normal,
Mm.
um, about 12 years ago when the first recession hit. And I think it really is going to be a new normal now. And so the skills of connection have not changed at all. These are the skills that I've been working with leaders from all over the world about, is that in terms of differences, we as individuals might have different ways of moving through the world. We might come from different cultures. We have different uh, colors of our skin. We have different ways of doing things together. But at the core, we all have a story. We all have brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, and experiences. So we actually have more in common than we do difference. I think it's so important to celebrate our humanity that we have in common, as well as acknowledge our humanity that we have in common and celebrate the things that are different, because it's in that valuing differences of opinions, of operating, of the way of seeing the world, that we're actually a better team. We come together when we have a whole brain working, not a homogeneous, not everyone is like ourselves.
Exactly.
We want to be able to work with, we want to be able to leverage that difference in a very constructive manner. So I think even for me, my business has shifted. I built my business around the deep personal transformational work.
Exactly.
And it's about groups coming together, really connecting well. And now I've adapted, I've pivoted my business to virtual. And I'm finding the same level of connection can really happen. And so being able to be willing, the people, the businesses that embrace the moment, embrace the change, are the ones that are going to come out stronger on the other side of this a global health crisis.
Yes.
And so when and if and when things come back to when I can have a classroom again, my capability of being able to do in-person classroom, but also virtual, my business has expanded now.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm one of my new clients, or say learning partners, are this woman from Pakistan, who was the head of learning and development for PepsiCo in the Asia Pacific region. Now she works at a micro lending bank, but she also, her and her partners, have started this women's empowerment group called Her Bright Beginning. And we're going to be partnering together to bring some programming to women and people in the area of Pakistan, which hasn't had a lot of available to them. So it's opened up really new markets. And I'm excited about this. I'm excited about, because I think, I don't think I would have been, that opportunity would have come. And it's a really important piece of work too. That's what I think about it. So, and I'm able to build business in different region of the world, and that won't go away.
So that would be like a silver lining, like something from this.
Yes.
Like
And that's,
being closer.
there's always a path through. There's always a path through, and we have to look for it and discover it, and that's not easy for everyone. And it's not easy for every business either.
No, right. Some businesses are more impacted than others. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, you're
exactly.
Right. Well, Rob, it's been a real pleasure. I'm very grateful for having you
Thank
today.
you, Dolores.
And I would love to finish with the last words from your book that I loved and I recommend everyone to read. Like, be present, be bold, be vulnerable, be authentic, and be your best self. Thanks a lot for your contribution to the world.
Thank you. For one more thing, if people want more information, they can go two places.
Yes.
They go to my website, protagonistconsulting.com,
Full of
or they
resources.
can go to leadingfromyourbestself.com/virtual, and they can put their name in and check the boxes of those types of virtual offerings that they might be interested in, that I'll
For
be
the
offering very
coaching.
soon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also on LinkedIn with the social media,
Yes.
your social channels.
Yep. Rob
I will.
Salafia or Protagonist Consulting.
I write all of your information in the notes for people to check and follow you.
Great.
And keep us posted with all your new endeavors and your new ventures all over the world now.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Rob.
Okay.